yeah, I really wanted to get in front of the camera today to start a series on pregnancy, labour, delivery, motherhood. It's something I'm really passionate about and wanted to talk and share and hopefully inspire, educate and even just inform someone even slightly further. That would be amazing. I feel like it's a space that has room for more, so there's not that much about VBACs, especially at home, and I really like to contribute to that area if I can in any way positively. The focus of today's video is all about why I chose to have a HBAC, a home birth after caesarean section. There are 5 key reasons why, and I'm just going to elaborate on those today in hope that I could inspire, help, educate, inform further anyone else that might be thinking, considering or just wanting to know more about this. The first reason why was to follow my natural instincts, my natural intuition, and my natural intuition was gearing me towards having a birth at home naturally, not having a repeat C-section. With my first child, I didn't follow my natural intuition. At the time, I was really passionate about having a birth at home. I even had a neighbour who had had like four of her children in her home and successfully. So I had that inspiration around me, but I just succumbed to medical hospital environment and just felt like it's my first baby, and I think as well my partner wasn't that sure about having a birth at home as well, and we just decided to go ahead and have it in the hospital. I knew this and had this innate feeling that no, I want to give birth at home. I want to be barefoot walking in the garden whilst my surges are happening, because it was a summer baby. That didn't happen but it was still beautiful to be at home, and I'm so happy that I followed those instincts and trusted myself, trusted my body, trusted the design and the way we've been made, and you know, meticulously designed to give birth to life. Like, it's incredible. And I wish that I'd followed that intuition with my first child. Perhaps things might not have gone the way they did if I had have done that. Luckily for me in England, there are hospitals nearby. Just 15-minute drive, I could have been there if there were to be any emergencies. The second reason why I decided to have a HBAC was because of the stress and trauma of being in the hospital and also having a C-section in the end. So this is sort of two-part. The first part was the stress and the trauma and the intervention and the loss of dignity and all the experiences that I had in the hospital. I just knew that I did not want to be in the hospital again. It was really difficult to have the C-section. It's an absolutely major surgery, cutting through so many different layers of your body, and I didn't take that lightly, and so unless there was any medical reason or medical urgency that I needed to have another C-section, I didn't want to, and that's why I chose to have my HBAC. The third reason is just about the ease and familiarity of being in your home environment. You know, you don't need to worry about packing a bag for the journey to the hospital, or worrying about the car park and the cost of that, and whether the hospital's going to be busy that day. You know, you can really just have that ease of mind in your own home, set up the candles as you wish, the diffusers. I remember with my hospital experience, I wasn't allowed to have just my simple diffuser on due to whatever policies that they had in place. It was difficult to express that we wanted to have dim lighting because there were so many different people coming in and out of the room. So it's just nice to be in a familiar home environment, which is what I wanted. I actually gave birth in this room. We'd only just moved into this house, so it wasn't like a home for a long time, but it was home, and it was familiar and it was nice. Having that ease and familiarity and comfort of the home was beautiful. I remember during my birth, my home birth, at one point I asked my husband to go out and get me some raspberries from the garden, and so me and the midwives, we were having raspberries during my contractions just because I was really all of a sudden craving that. So I wouldn't have had that sort of ease and familiarity and comfort at the hospital. There was also a moment where I was the pushing stage, and the midwife asked my husband, do you have anything sweet, anything like honey or something that you can bring for her for energy wise? You know, in the hospital, you know, unless you've packed in this already, which is another thing that you have to do, it's hard to be spontaneous like that. But being at home, you have everything you need pretty much around you. I also didn't want to put anything to chance, and I wanted to have that feeling of empowerment by being at home. So when I was in the hospital, I felt really vulnerable and at the hands of the people in front of me and around me. and I was in their space. But being at home, you're in your own space, so you get this, you know, whilst you're having good contractions, which is something that you can't control, your body surrenders to that because it's out of your hands. Your contractions, your surges, they're going to come. It's not something you can control, but what you can control is, for example, your breathing, your environment to an extent. So I really wanted to be empowered by being at home, and I was. I remember being laid on the side and midwives asking me questions, but I felt really comfortable to just pause and answer, discuss with my partner, and then make a decision. But when I was in the hospital, there was a lot of pressure, a lot of things going on around you that I feel like I really lost that control. So just a feeling of empowerment, and not putting things to chance. So, you know, when you're going to the hospital, you don't know how busy it's going to be that day, you don't know what time of the day it's going to be, and who's going to be on call, who's going to be working, whether there's going to be a birthing pool available. For me, I knew I wanted to have a birthing pool, I wanted to use the water as a pain relief, so I brought one, and it wasn't that expensive secondhand, and I had it readily available, and I knew there was no reason why I wasn't going to have that. But if you do go to a hospital, there's no guarantee, unless you're paying private or whatever else, but how it is in England with the NHS, you can't guarantee anything. You can't guarantee a room, private. You know, when I was in the hospital, I didn't even have a toilet, there was no shower, I had to walk along a corridor during my contractions with my open back, birthing, the gown on, the hospital gown, and there was just so many factors that I'd lost control of, and I wanted to feel empowered. I just wanted to feel empowered, because when you succumb to and you can't control your contractions, your surges, where you can, you want to control, like your breathing, your environment, and for me it was about controlling that as much as I could, the things that I could control. Finally, the consistency of care, the better care with the home birth teams, and I imagine this is across the world, but definitely in England, they do have more of an open mind, they're holistic, they're home birth midwives for a reason, so they are supportive and they want you to have your home birth successfully. And it's really nice because they would come to my house for my appointments, so I didn't really have to go to the practice or the hospital as often as I would have had to if I was having a hospital birth. So they'd come to me, so it was quite intimate. I was quite lucky that I had the same midwife throughout, all the way up till the day of giving birth. So there's just that consistent better care that I felt I would receive by having a HBAC too. In hospital I felt really vulnerable. I think it's because it was their space, it was their territory, but being at home I felt like the midwives that came to see me, they were my guests, so they were being respectful because they were in my home. But when I was in the hospital, I didn't feel respected. I felt quite abused almost because of the trauma that I went through and just everything that was going on, and I felt like I couldn't question or think or take a moment because I was in their territory. It's very, I don't know, it's just how I felt. But being in my own home, I felt at ease, at comfort and familiar, and that was really important for me in choosing to have a HBAC too. Better energy around me, a more supportive energy. When I was in the hospital, I had just so many different people, and it was different energies, different opinions, and it was really difficult. It was really tricky to know what to do, and it created a lot of stress, and I think that's what slowed down my labour experience a lot, and ultimately led to them needing to induce me and then stressing out my baby, and due to heart rate issues and a long labour, needing to have an emergency C-section. Yeah, I chose to have a vaginal birth after caesarean section due to various reasons, ranging from following my natural intuition, avoiding having a stressful traumatic experience in the hospital, and having such a major surgery done to your body second time round. I really wanted to avoid that. I wanted to be somewhere familiar, I wanted to have ease, and I wanted to have control as much as I could and not feel vulnerable to my surroundings. I also wanted consistent and better care, a better energy, a better flow, a better feeling, and I just wanted to tune in, trust my body, trust the process, trust the design, and be with my partner and make decisions in a relaxing environment rather than a stressful environment, because it was so difficult. There were so many various decisions that we had to make about various interventions in the hospital, but it was really difficult to do so because we were not relaxed, because we were so stressed for so many different reasons. So yeah, thank you. If there's anything that you would like to ask me, or if you could share your experiences in the comments, or any advice, any tips, any experiences of others that have had a VBAC, or thinking about having a VBAC at home or naturally or in the hospital or whatever else. Please do share your experiences, share your comments, share your voice. I would love to hear and read those. Thank you.